Hi everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I'm Jeannie Nielsen, the card lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you. I just realized that I didn't put my phone on Do Not Disturb, so hopefully that's not going to be an issue in the next couple of minutes, or next little while, but hopefully I have a whole lot to share with you. I'm so excited. I got the Fitting Florets bundle, the suite, in the mail last week, and I finally had time this week, actually today, to play. I've been busy getting ready for this class. I have a Christmas card club that I am prepping and marketing right now. So I've been working on that. So that's why my shelf behind me is so empty, because I have a whole bunch of cards that are made with those cards. And then I have a card class tonight with the Christmas stamp sets, various ones that maybe are not tied to a bundle so that we could have fun together. And now I am going to be showing these Fitting Florets cards. I'm really excited about them. I have three cards that are really unique, I'm hoping. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to show you my cards. In a little while, when I flip down, hopefully this is going to work. If not, I'm going to have a serious conversation with Cindy, because I just can't figure out what she does that works that does not work for me. But anyway, I hope that I'm not going to be upside down. That's the plan. We're going to see. Let me show you a little bit. You know what? I'm going to flip right down and I'm going to show you the suite, a little bit about it, the stamp sets, the designer paper, the beautiful designer paper, and then the cards we are going to make today. And you are going to have a chance to make these cards in the comfort of your own home just by placing an order. So I'll give you the host code link at the end. And I think you're going to love these cards. I really do. So I made 3. In your card kit, you will get to make 6. I originally thought I wasn't going to do the die cutting. I probably will, because that's what I do. So anyway, let's see how this is going to go. It's not going to go. It is not going to go. Let me see. You know what? I'm going to flip up, and I think what I'm going to do, let me see. I don't know why these effects come. I'm not going to wear sunglasses. I'm not going to have snowflakes going across the screen, but I have to figure out what it is. So let me just flip up, and then I'm going to try flipping down. I should have done this before, but I'm going to flip up, and then I'm going to go from overhead so that I can see what I'm doing and you can see. I think this is going to work. So let's see. Okay, you're going to go up to the ceiling. Let's see if this is going to work. There we go. Okay. And we're going to flip. Yes! Okay. So I've got all kinds of stuff on my desk that I didn't really prepare for, but I think this is going to work. Okay. Now, if I was horizontal, it would be even better, but that's okay. We're going to be fine. Yay! Okay. So right here underneath me, I have all of the designer paper that is part of the pack. I decided that a couple of these were very beautiful and looked like they were going to be great for Christmas cards. So you see the front, and now I'm going to show you the back. You've got a little bit of gingham. I didn't even notice that there was a gingham. Isn't that beautiful? I have to say this is probably, oh, I'm missing one that you guys are not seeing, and this is probably my favorite in the whole thing. Isn't that so pretty? To me, it looks like blueberries. I just love, this is my favorite color combination ever. And I do have to show you something else. I don't know about you, but I don't know if you guys ever sewed for your kids when you were young, but doesn't this look like the Joann Fabrics calico section? Just love it. So I'm going to show you some neat things that you can do with this paper besides these cards. So, of course, 12 sheets in a pack. It's not a specialty pack, so it's going to be $12.50 for this pack. You know what? It may be 12. I can't even remember. Once I get on camera, I can't remember anything. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. Guess what, you guys? I'm going to be able to see your comments, I think, because now I'm facing down. So let's show you the cards that we're going to make and the stamp sets. So there are 2 stamp sets, Framed and Festive and Framed Florets. And they both have matching dies. And I don't have all the dies here because some of them I'm using for my cards. But guess what, guys? You've been asking for ovals for die cutting. You can get them here. Look at this. This not only cuts the frame, but it cuts an oval inside too. So I just love that. This one, I thought it was going to. You know what it does? It leaves a great heart border. You can see it here. A great heart border around. So this is going to be great for Valentine's Day. And then there's this one as well. You get your fancy frame, but you also get this oval, which is slightly larger than this oval. You can see that it's just a little bit better. So you could easily layer those ovals too. So I just wanted to show you that. In this suite that's offered, especially in November, Framed and Festive is a limited time only stamp set. When this is gone, you're not going to be able to get this anymore. This is great. How fun is this stamp set? Look at this. And I used one of these. I think this is so fun. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. These are great sentiments, and they're great for the insides of cards too. I love From Our Home to Yours, and I'll be using that for sure when I make my Christmas cards, if I make my Christmas cards. You also have this stamp set though, and you could buy the whole suite, or right now the bundle is actually these two, the dies with the Framed Florets. Great for all occasion. I made a card for a birthday today. Actually, I'm going to show you a second card, I think. I can't remember if I decided to make it Christmas or a birthday. Thank yous. Just nice. I love the Celebrate. I love to keep my 1/2-inch strips when I'm making my cards. You know, the insides are 4 by 5 1/4. That leaves me a 1/2-inch strip. And that's a great little sentiment right there. And maybe even that one that you can put on those 1/2-inch strips and just put at the bottom of the card. And the nice thing about this one is that it's photopolymer, so you can see what you're stamping. Okay, let's get to the cards because I know you're dying to see them. This is my favorite. Look at this card. Nice and simple. There's really nothing to this card, and I'm going to show you how I made it in just a second. Maybe I should show you that before I even show you the other cards. I think that's what we're going to do. So I have here, I forgot, I can't sit down. I never sit down when I'm stamping, but when I'm doing my Facebook Live, I sit down. And of course, I can't see what I'm doing if I sit down. So here we have the card. And this is basically just a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of evening evergreen cardstock. I've already scored it at 4 1/4. This is my favorite layout. I always use this one. I'm going to show you a different one in just a second, but I have a second piece of paper, and this is, you know, I can't remember, something bouquet. This is in the annual catalog. It's a thin folder, and I'm going to show you actually the folder. This is the folder. This folder is, and I'm going to show you, I never show you my embossing, but I wanted to show you a little thing easy to remember when you're embossing. So give me just a second and I will get to that. But anyway, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then we have this layer that I've put through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And this, you'll see, is a very thin folder. So I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to show you that right now because I think this is going to be easy for you to remember when you're embossing. You need your multi-purpose platform for that. When you're cutting, using your Stampin' Cut and Emboss, it says here, this is not a cutting surface. You are never going to cut on here. You're going to have plates, 2 clear plates if you're cutting, and you can see that. It shows you that right here. Anyway, this one, I have one for cutting and I have one for embossing. So you've got your machine here. Because this is a thin folder, and I wanted to show you, I've embossed it already. I'm not going to do it on camera, but because it's a thin folder, we need this second piece. This is just a real thin piece of plastic that also comes with your die cutting machine, so you can adapt it for your thin or your thicker folders. Because this is a thin folder, I need this extra shim. And then you have your blue plate that you know, I think it might be a gray plate now that I think about it. But the blue plate I use all the time just because I always have. So you've got your next plate that you put on top. Now, I am going to, in a second, show you. In fact, I'll show you right now. I won't show you the card, but I'm going to show you. This here is a thicker folder. So what you'll do is take the shim out, and you're just going to put that, and you're going to run it through. make sure when you are running it through, your hinge is at the top. If it's not at the top, you really stand the chance of breaking it. And if you put it through foot first, you will definitely crack that. I've done it. Don't do it. Okay, so let's get back to the card. I just wanted to show you those little tips because I never do show you when I'm embossing on camera. Okay, so I've already embossed this piece of paper with this folder, which I didn't write the name on. By the way, it's definitely in the annual catalog, and I'll include that because I didn't have the name. I'll include that in my description when I go back and edit this post. But if you want the tutorial, the written tutorial, unfortunately, the only way to get that is to place an order. Fortunately, I'm going to give you the host code, and you're going to be able to place an order. Okay, so here we go. I've done that. I've done the embossing. Now, this next piece is so easy. This designer paper, this beautiful designer paper, remember I told you this was my favorite. This is, Lindsay just left me a message, had to get that out of the way. This is 3 inches by 4 inches, which means you could get 12 out of 1 sheet of paper or 24 out of 2 sheets of paper because you've got 2 sheets of every pattern in your pack. So we got 12 sheets of paper. No, we've got our 3 by 4. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Our 3 by 4 inch piece of designer paper. And I'm just going to layer that on some balmy blue. You can see that I did that. I tried doing it all different ways. I tried doing it with blue, but I kind of wanted, for some reason, this just jumped out at me more. So this is balmy blue, 3 1/4 by 4 1/4, just a 1/4 inch larger length and width. So we've got that. I'm actually going to build this card in front of you, so we're going to see this in just a second. And then I've already cut my little flowers. These are 2 more of the dies, and you saw that in the Framed Florets. These flowers to me look just like this paper, so that's why I wanted to do that. So I've already cut them, and a nice little tip for you guys too, when you're cutting your little pieces, I put it on the sticky part of a Post-it note, and it holds them together. So if you have a tiny little, you know, eyes for a penguin or something, or the Scotty dog, I just did that the other day, you're going to want to put them on the sticky part. And the stickier you're better off if you're going to do this. Make sure that you have really sticky note. Do the real Post-it note. The cheap ones, it doesn't work as well. Okay, so I've already colored that. No, I've already stamped that. And I stamped it in Memento. And let's see, what am I going to do next? I'm going to stamp the inside. I am going to stamp my sentiment. And I just realized I don't have anything set up for stamping here. But I do have all the pieces, so we're going to be fine. Okay, so I've got my foam pad. Because this is photopolymer, I want my foam pad. I've got a couple of different things that I'm going to do. So I'm going to stamp, first of all, my sentiment. And like I said, because it's photopolymer, I can see what I'm doing. So let's do that. I'm going to ink it up. You don't have to press into the pad when you're doing this. I'm just tapping. I tap it several times. And then I kind of look at it and make sure, oh boy, do I need to clean my blocks or what? Pretty Flowers embossing folder. Thank you so much, Michelle. I should have you next to me helping me. That's probably it. So, okay, because this is, I have to do this down for a second, so I'm right over top of it. I'm going to move it out of camera. I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. So what I always do when I'm doing something, especially a solid image, but even with my sentiments, I have a second where this is stuck to my paper. I have to tell you that what I do is I pick this up and I rub my fingers along the bottom so that I have the full image just like that. That's really important, I think. I do that especially with my solid images too, but also with my sentiments. Okay, so let's build this card. Oh, I wanted to stamp the flowers so that you could see it. What I did, I put 2 of them. Oh, can't stamp the flowers. I took them out of here. And that's what my scrap was for. So unfortunately, I'm not going to stamp my flowers, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I do want to stamp the inside though. And that's something I did not do in this card. Don't you love the organdy ribbon? I think it, even though it is, I tried to make them all Christmas, and it's really hard because this is going to be in the spring catalog, so it's really hard to get that Christmas feel, but you're going to see some pretty cards that kind of give it that feel in just a second. What I want to do, I have this sentiment here, just a little reminder that you are loved. Remember, I've already done the birthday card, so we're going to stamp this. And because it's photopolymer, I can see what I'm doing and where I'm stamping. I'm going to, you know what? I have to tell you, this is a new stamp. I haven't used it, so it almost has to be conditioned. So a lot of times with my felt pads, I kind of go rub it back and forth and then tap. But don't do it too much because you really don't want to make it muddy around those letters, especially because they're little, but yeah, not bad. Okay, there we go. Someplace here, I have my stamp cleaner off to the side. Okay, so we got that. And then what I thought I would do is use this flower, which to me looks just like the flowers on that paper. And again, I haven't used the stamp yet because I didn't stamp my insides because I never remember to stamp my insides. Let's do it just like this. I'm going to do it just like that. Maybe I should have done it the other direction because I always sign off in this corner. I don't know about you guys, but okay. Now, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it with my little flowers here too, is use the light balmy blue blend. And I'm going to color the entire flower. By the way, I think that I might need new balmy blue blends, so I'm going to do my best. But if I go out of the lines, it's a tiny bit, I realize that it's a tiny bit, you know how when you get these, it's almost like there's an extra layer to a little bit fuzzy, maybe? Maybe that's the word I'm trying to think of. So I don't have to be crazy about this. And these flowers the same. I'm just going to color them. So I'm using the light balmy blue. And then I'm going to go over. Sorry, I don't like taking a lot of time to color, so I'm doing it kind of quick. I hope that you guys don't mind watching me color for just a second. When I have the time, I love to color. In real life, I love to color, but I don't want to take up all your time coloring. Okay, that's pretty good right there. Okay, so this is the light balmy blue. And then I've got my even fuzzier dark balmy blue. And I'm just going to kind of stick to the lines. I'm just kind of going around the center. I'm not even doing anything fancy. I'm just kind of dabbing it around the center. And I'm going to do the same thing here, I think. And there actually is a layer of the card. See, this is what I mean. It's fuzzy. There's a layer on the outside of the petals, which are a tiny bit darker. You can see it especially like on this one. Right there, a little bit there. Okay, and then I decided because this has Evening Evergreen, I was going to use Evening Evergreen as well for my flower centers. So this is the light Evening Evergreen. And I'm just going to go like that, just a little bit, just in the centers. And I'm just kind of drawing a circle. There we go. There we go. And you know what? Because I'm going to flip sides and use the finer tip here to get these lines. Otherwise, I'm going to go out of the lines. But I'm going to use Evening Evergreen on these leaves too. Let's see, like that, like that. You guys get the picture, right? I'm sorry, I'm taking all of your time. But indulge me. This is kind of the first time I'm actually sitting down today. Had a busy night at work last night, but it's almost done. I'm almost on the day shift, guys. Then I'm going to be a whole different person. 6 more shifts to go, and I go to move to a clinic, which also does bone marrow transplant. So I'm going to still be using my specialty. So you don't need to worry about that. Still going to be doing what I love because truly, I think I'm called to do bone marrow transplant. Okay, that's that. So this is going to be our inside. Let's just glue these pieces together. I've got my glue here. I love glue. This weekend we did our Stamp Out breast cancer event, and I brought the seal. Oh, and by the way, we have made over 19,000 for making strides against breast cancer. So thank you to everyone that contributed. That was quite, I think we blew up last year's total by about 8,000. I mean, seriously. Yeah, this is the back. So when I do glue, I squeeze, but I constantly move at the same time. Just a little tip for how I do this. Okay, and I got glue on the side. Take your adhesive eraser later and get rid of that glue. Okay, one thing that I want to do yet first, and let's see, I need my organdy ribbon, which I'm using for another card. I'm just going to tie this around. And for anybody that needs an extra set of hands, I'm just going to tell you, I don't usually, especially with this ribbon, when I'm using the new In Color ribbon that's more like a twine, that's when I end up needing an extra set of hands. But if you guys do need an extra set of hands, just to let you know, the Embossing Editions kit has a great pair of these reverse tweezers, and seriously, they are the bomb. That's your extra set of hands. So I could put this any side that I want. Maybe I'll put it on the other side because if you guys are getting the kit, you're getting all these pieces. Okay. So for a $35 order, you are going to get 6 cards. And this, I'm going to put this on the inside just so I don't lose it because I know myself. I'm going to get to the end and I'm going to say, where did the inside go again? Okay. So we got that. Put that in here. Isn't that so pretty? It adds a lot when you actually stamp the inside. And my people, they're so patient with me, but I never have insides. And my husband, when I show him my cards, he always opens to the inside of the card. And I'm like, it's not there. Even if I warn him ahead of time and say, I didn't do the inside, he still automatically opens the card and looks for my inside. I'm gluing that straight on because I want to pop up my flowers. And I'm going to just use some dimensionals here for my flowers. And I think the regular size dimensionals work for all of these. So I'm going to put one up there. Another, I'm going to put the big one off to the side. And you know what? I sat down again. So hopefully you can see. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Sorry, I keep, if you see me swipe, I don't know, you probably can't see me swiping because actually that's the top. But the one time I forget to put my phone on Do Not Disturb and I've got a family text chain going on. But it's a good thing because my daughter said that she made it safely to the garage, which is a good thing because she actually drove to Wellesley, which is like 35, 40 miles for her. She drove there with the alternator potentially going on the blink. I wouldn't suggest doing that ever. So I'm glad she made it there safely. I'm going to move that down just a tiny bit. There we go. I like that better. Okay, so there's our card. See how quickly that went together? Now, when you get this, you're going to get the embossed pieces. The only thing I can't do are the flowers. You're going to have to cut them out by hand if you don't get the dies, because unfortunately, I can't stamp, and you're not going to get it in the same place if you stamp what I die cut. So, but I will do this little shape. So, these are the first 2 cards. Don't you love them? I love them. Another text. I'm telling you, this is crazy. Okay, I'm going to set this off to the side until the end, and we're going to move on to card number 2. And I'm very excited about card number 2 because I have so much to show you on this one. This one is my Christmas card. So let's show you my card. Isn't this so pretty? Just love this card. So it uses another sheet of the paper that's in the pack. And everything is so close. It's another Florets name. But anyway, you'll know because it's all over the Stampin' Up page as being the suite that they are focusing on this month. It's a special promotion. This I cut out of brushed gold cardstock, and this is one of the dies that's in there. I decided it needed a little something off to the bottom side here. So I cut this out of the Evening Evergreen Glimmer paper. This is the specialty glimmer paper. I believe there is a gold, an ivory, and this green in the pack. And unfortunately, I also believe it's back order. So if you want these pieces, you're gonna have to buy this kit. Anyway, again, I used the organdy ribbon. So this card, I did 4 1/4 by 11 inches. Yep, I didn't stamp the inside. Sorry, guys. But the reason I did that is because I don't want to tie my my ribbon just around my designer paper, and I don't want to use another layer of cardstock just so I can tie my ribbon. So I'm going to tie it neatly around both layers. So let's get to that for a second. And remember I said I wanted to share something really cool about this paper? Wait to the end of this card and I want to show you. Actually, I'm going to show you now because I think it's so cool. So I've got my little bin here. I took a piece of the paper. This was all that was left of the strip. And look at this. Isn't this so cool? Look at how brilliant that is. I colored these. This could look like holly berries, and these could look like blueberries, depending on what you wanted. So if you wanted to have more of a spring feel, color it like this. And I have to tell you what I did. I have all my blends. This is what I used. So I have here I should have left one so you could see, but I used the light Starry Sky and the light Poppy Parade. You could probably use the dark Poppy Parade, but I didn't have to use my color remover on the red at all. So you could see pretty clearly, almost transparently through that red. So that's nice. But the dark, even though this is my light Starry Sky, I used the color remover on there just to take a little bit of the color off and make it look more like blueberries. And I think if you do it earlier, it even is more brilliant, but you can see that there's a lot of white to that now that I lifted off. So isn't that pretty? So you could easily make this a non-Christmas card with this kit. Very, very easily. But let me show you the pieces now. So like I said, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. I scored it at 5 1/2. So you're either scoring it at 4 1/4 inches or 5 1/2 inches, halfway through the sheet of paper. And when I do any of my scoring, I score through a whole sheet of paper, and I have 2 pieces because then I have one for me and then one to share, or one for me and one for the next time. So just wanted to let you know that that's what I do. Rather than just cutting it in half and then scoring, save yourself some time and score all at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to glue this piece of designer paper. It's 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And I need my glue. So you see the back is pink. So you can see that this is probably supposed to be mostly a spring floral type of designer paper. And like I said, it is going to be in the spring mini catalog. So you're getting a sneak peek and getting to start playing with it early. And what's really cool, if you're a demonstrator, we had an extra month to do it. Not that that helped me because I still had so much on my plate, but you have an extra month to play with it. But it's like you are getting the benefits of being a demonstrator now by getting to pre-order this before it goes live in the catalog. So don't miss out on that. Okay, so I've got that. And now what I'm going to do is, once again, where did I put that ribbon? Oh, I wanted to show you that I could either do the white ribbon. Remember I said, I was just talking to Michelle before I went live, and I said, I had a clean table before I started this afternoon designing these cards. And yes, I did design them this afternoon. But I have about 6 inches of space, if I'm lucky, left. So I can use this white organdy ribbon. And if your order is a $50 order, you're going to get a roll of this ribbon included, a whole bolt of this white glittered organdy ribbon. And I went online before I came here to make sure it wasn't back ordered, because there are things that are back ordered. You could use that, or I also, and where did I put it? Right here. If you don't want it to look quite so springy, use our Evening Evergreen sheer ribbon. And don't forget, guys, it's time to start thinking about this already. This is one of the in colors that's going out. So stock up on this stuff now before it goes on low inventory eventually. So I can tie this, and maybe for something different, I will use this ribbon. I always leave my ribbon on a spool. I don't cut it until after I'm done tying. So I'm going to go like this. So that's, I'm just tying it in a knot. Then I make a little loop. I'm trying to show you because everybody's so confused. I wrap it around my big fat thumbs. And seriously, if I can do it, you can do it, because my thumbs are not real dainty. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I really like that, except I'm gonna have to make that bow a little smaller. Okay, and then I'm going to just, now I can cut the ends of it and I haven't wasted any ribbon. So that's just a tip for you. Okay, so let's look at this card again. So I've already got my green. I'm going to stamp my sentiment in my oval. So this is the same frame. Where did I put the card? I just put it away. Oh, no, it isn't. You haven't seen this. So this is the oval frame I was talking about. What I did was I popped up this. I cut evergreen and I cut white. And I could use the evergreen for something. I could center die cuts on that. I could put a, you know, the decorated with happiness. It has some little ornaments in there. You could die cut them out of gold foil or gold glimmer paper and put that in the center of your evergreen frame. So when you die cut, I'm going to show you, when you use this die, it cuts the outside and the inside. So I cut two of them. So I cut the green and I cut the basic white. And I set aside the basic white outside and I set aside the evergreen inside. And I'll use those for Christmas cards. I don't ever let those die cuts go to waste. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this in Evening Evergreen. And I used, again, boy, this is what my desk looks like. I'm trying to contain it, and boy, this, I'm going to use the Framed and Festive, or I did use the Framed and Festive. If you don't want to use the Framed and Festive, by the way, I'm thinking that this one, Wishes for a Beautiful Birthday, would also be really pretty in there. And then you could do that. You could stamp it again in Evening Evergreen, or you could stamp it, you could maybe do this as a Starry Sky frame. And remember what I just said about using the blends to color. I'm going to put that off to the side though. Oh, here's the flowers. That's the flowers that I needed. Wrong bin. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, so I think I'm going to stick again to doing it as a Christmas card. And maybe I will accent it with an ornament next time, or a snowflake or something when I'm done. Hi, everybody. See, thanks, guys. I'm so excited that everybody is here watching. I really am. Okay, so don't put too much ink. You definitely don't want to smush this into your ink pad. You just tap it. That's all it takes. And I already lined it up with my block. So I know that this is pretty much straight. Now my camera is in my way, but so I'm hoping that I'm straight, but there we go. Perfect. That was easy peasy, believe it or not. And believe it or not, I was worried. Okay, so I've already got my dies. I'm putting all this stuff away so it's out of the way. What I'm going to do, I've already done the gold die cut. This is one of the little leaves. I just felt like it needed a little something. And I feel like you can tell that those are leaves. Or you could think it's a butterfly. I don't know. Whatever you want to think it. That's what it's going to be. So let's see. Again, I think, just like this card, because of the way this die cut goes around the oval, I'm going to stick to keeping my bow on that side. You could tie a knot if you don't want to do a bow. And like I said, use the Embossing Editions kit. The tweezers, those reverse tweezers, if you need an extra set of hands. Okay, I'm going to slide that off to the side, and all I'm going to do is put a couple of dimensionals on the back of here. And here's my dimensionals. That's my minis. That's my minis. Here's my big dimensionals. I always try to keep, I have an envelope rubber banded around a bin with some basic essentials that I need for my Facebook Live. If I ever borrow from there, I'm like, put it back. You'd think I'd do that with the rest of my craft room, but you'd be wrong. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to put this in the center, just like that. And I would recommend that you start just like I did with putting this oval here. And then you can add this around it when you're done. I want this, I don't want my frame to be sunk in, so I'm going to add a bunch of mini dimensionals around the edges. And you shouldn't see them, I don't think. You can't really see it on this card unless you're really looking. And if you, by the way, if you ever do see a little bit of the dimensionals hanging out on the sides, use your markers or your blends. This is Michelle's tip. Use your markers or your blends and color the sides of them, and it'll blend right in, and nobody will know that that's what they're looking at. So what I should have done, and I easily could, I'm going to show you that real quick right here, because I want you to, I could have taken my evening evergreen, just colored my dimensional, and see, you don't even know that you see it anymore. Isn't that so clever? Okay, back to this card. Still putting on all of my mini dimensionals. I don't often use a lot of dimensionals, but because this frame is so, I don't want to say flimsy, but the center's missing out of it, so it's not what it was before. I'm going to use plenty of little dots. And what I'm going to do is hopefully just lay that right over top, just like that, and it fits right inside. There we go. Not bad. Beautiful. Okay, so that's all there is to that. Let me put my dimensionals back before I lose them. I'm going to take a tiny bit of glue, and I'm just going to put it on this side of the leaves. This is another thing I was talking to Michelle about earlier today. I'm not a big fan. Sometimes you get a little vibrant sheath at the top there. Oh, that's probably work talk with clots. But anyway, you get a little glue sheath right over top of the thing. Just peel it off, or have like a straight pin nearby that you can poke. I wish that I wish more of this was a solid gold, because it's so much easier, first of all, to attach. I'm just going to go like that and try not to move it. And then I have to tell you guys what I do when I'm done with that. I take my glue bottle and I just kind of tap it down so that I'm not getting sticky on my fingers, but hopefully it's still going to stick. Could probably use more glue, but that's that. And then I'm going to take just a dimensional, and I'm going to put it just on the outside here, the part that's going to be sticking up, because I don't want the whole thing to be sticking up over the frame. I just want it to be laying over the frame. So I'm going to do it just like that. Just like that. There we go. One more final. I love jazzing my cards up. I'm going to use the Wink of Stella on my white berries. And this is a real simple thing that you can do. I'm just going to color. You can do this on any designer paper, by the way. This is real easy just to do that. Just add a little bit of extra shimmer, and especially because it's Christmas. I was thinking about doing this, by the way, with some shimmer paper. But first of all, I find it a little bit, I love to emboss on shimmer paper, but I don't really like to stamp on shimmer paper. It's a little bit slipperier. So I like to, and also I don't find it as white as this. It's just a tiny shade off. So I tend not to use, I was thinking that shimmer paper would be great. But alas, not in this case. So here we go. And which one do you guys like better? Do you like it with the white shimmer ribbon or do you like it with the green? I know which one I'm thinking of, but I want to hear what you guys think. I have to tell you, I am truly partial, totally partial to this white organdy ribbon. I just love, especially because I've shined up these berries, I just love this organdy ribbon. I'm going to be sad if it goes, and I'm sure it will, but at least it's in the annual catalog, I believe, and it's around for a little bit longer. But so tell me which one you like, the green or the white ribbon. And like I said, you could also, like I said, color in the berries, use different frames, use a different sentiment, and all of a sudden, it's not Christmas anymore. So that's card number 2. Okay, gotta tell you, I'm excited about card number 3 too. Really, really excited. Now, card number 3, I had to think outside of the box a little bit because I have to tell you, and this is really funny, and I would never, ever, ever recommend this. When I was making this card, I cut the designer paper first, and then I designed the card after that. It doesn't work. Don't do it. Don't do it. Seriously. Okay, so I gave you a little hint. I have the Whimsical Trees folder, which I didn't realize I was missing. I never bought this, and all of a sudden I started seeing cards. I'm like, what is that? And I thought it was the one. There's the 2 folders that are 3 by 3, or maybe they're even a little bit like 3.5, but they're not full card size. And there are certain cards that you just need a full size folder for. So this is the Whimsical Trees folder. And like I said, this is a 3D folder. So you're not going to use that shim when you emboss. Okay, I'm going to show you the card, and then I'll give you the little background of what I was trying to do with it. This is the card. I wanted to do a hip card. And I'm not hip, sorry, not hip. But it's a gift card holder. Isn't that so cool? Just love this. So let me show in the whole camera since I'm not wide. This is the card. I did it first in white. It was too white. I ended up doing it in balmy blue, which is why you may be able to see white under my blue there. Just don't look. Okay, so let's talk about this card. I wanted to do a gift card holder, and I thought I had already done the 3 by 4, and I've already done the first card, this card, which was done with a 3 by 4 inch piece of paper. So I had to do something a little different. And I decided I was trying to do Christmas, and then I said, oh, you know, this could be great, I'm thinking, for a teenager. You've got your denim ribbon. Isn't that so cool? I never use this denim ribbon, so I'm so excited that I was able to. So we've got our piece of designer paper here, which is 3 inches by 4 inches. And although this designer paper, if you really looked at the pack, let me show you. The back of this is pink. So I think this is probably supposed to be maybe a polished pink or something. I didn't want polished pink. I wanted Christmas. So I decided that by a little imagination and just kind of pulling your eyes to the red, maybe you'd think that this was red. And seriously, I could color these berries just like with the other paper. I don't know where remember I showed you this where I could color the berries with Poppy Parade and it would make it even redder. I'm not going to go to that trouble. Okay, so I again use the same frame. So this frame, but I just used the inside. This originally was going to be a masculine card. It just didn't work. I just couldn't make it work. The berries. So I think it's just fun as a teenager card. So I've got my gift card holder. Let's talk about this card. Let's make this card. Okay, so I got all the pieces. And don't forget, in your card kit, when you place your order with me, you make 2 of each card. And you can put your own sentiments in it as well if you don't end up buying this Florets bundle. But if you do, it's a fun stamp set. Okay, so I have here my Night of Navy paper, 4 1/4 by 11 inches. And what I did was I scored it at 1.5 inches and at 5.5 inches. So I've got a 1.5 inch, this is going to be and I'm going to have my bone folder right here, just to burnish that a little bit. This is going to be my pocket for my gift card holder. So why don't I even start with that right off the bat. I've got my tear and tape here. I don't think I would use fast fuse for this because you want to have a little bit of control and you have to be able to slip your gift card in here. Now, if anybody wants to get me a gift card, I am a big fan of Starbucks. Big fan. I do drink Dunkin' Donuts, but I'm finding more and more that I love Starbucks. Okay, let me show you the trick. I've got my, let me make sure it's really attached first. This is the spatula end of your take your pick tool. And I'm just slipping it under there. And look at that, just slipping it under. And voila, I didn't have to use any nails since I don't have any nails. Can't have nails and be a nurse. There's just, I open too many things and then they break. You know, insulin bottles and you name it. Antibiotic vials, things like that. Okay, so I've got my first fold here. What I'm going to do next is I have my 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of balmy blue. This took a little bit of, well, let's just say it, waste, which I'm going to have to use on another card to figure out how big to make this piece of paper. Because what I'm going to do is use it here on my front fold and a little bit here because you see it. So it has to be kind of even. Isn't that so cool? So I figured it out for you guys. Let me pull out my paper trimmer here. So like I said, it's 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to just cut. I know here that this is a 4-inch square. So I know that this, I want to be 3 3/4 inches, just a 1/4 inch around the edge, okay? So I'm going to put my long side at the top and I'm going to put it at 3 3/4 inches. You know, every long line is a 1/4 inch or so, and then you got your longer lines, which is a 1/2 inch, and your longest lines, which is 1 inch. So I'm going to put it at 3 3/4 inches, just in case anybody doesn't use a ruler very well. You've got 2 blades. This is your score blade. The light gray is your score. And the smart thing to do, and I never do it, I just have to make a conscious effort to remember. The smart thing to do is leave one at one side and the other at the other side. That's way, if you mean to score, you are actually scoring and not cutting. Ask me how I know. Okay, so I've got my cutting blade, my darker blade. It's at 3 3/4 inches, and I'm going to cut that off. And that gives me, oh, I better do it again. I better do it back down. Let's do it back down. I should keep this blade down here anyway. Okay, that gives me, I'm pretty sure, if it's 5 inches and I've got 3 3/4 inches, this gives me 1 1/4 inches because I had, remember, 1 1/2 inches that was folded back. So that's what's going to show there is 1 1/2 inches. I'm going to put that in there and I'm going to put it even on all 3 sides. And what I'm going to tell you is that this is going to be under this fold. It's going to be even right at the edge or so. But that's okay because I've got my border around this one that's going to make it look nice and neat. I use my glue. Getting to the end of this one. I have about 29 bottles of blue of the green glue waiting if I ever run out. So everybody knows I love my glue. Okay, I'm putting that there, and I'm going to put this on the cover, on the front of my gift card holder. So like I said, this is 3 3/4. It's 4 by 5 1/4 inches that I did, which is like a regular sheet of paper. The rest is under here, by the way. But so you have to make sure that when you're putting it in your embossing folder, you're putting it in and lining it up so that it is landscape position. And then what I did was I put the long end at the top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it evenly on all 4 sides. If I didn't have all 4 sides to work with, I'd make sure that at least 3 sides were even. And I have already done the math, so you don't have to worry about that. It'll work, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. So this is 3 3/4 inches by 4 inches. And like I said, make sure that your 4 inches is the tall part because that's 4 1/4 inch card, we're doing a 1/4 inch or essentially an 1/8 inch top and bottom. I don't want to confuse you, but just trust me. This is 3 3/4 inches by 4 inches when you cut off your 1 1/4 inches right there. Now, I am going to build the rest of my card. And do I have the rest of the card? I feel like I'm missing the designer paper. It's got to be here someplace. But I have my piece of cardstock here. If I don't have it, I've got another sheet of paper that I can pull real quick. Hang on one second. I think that I must have either dropped it or left my other piece of designer paper. Once again, like I said, 3 inches by 4 inches. Well, I should never put stuff away and clean up right before, because I don't know where I put that little scrap of designer paper. So, oh, let's just build it without. Let's just build it without, and then you're just going to have to trust me on the rest. So what I'm going to do is take my denim ribbon. That's really bothering me. I don't know what happened to that paper, because I definitely had all my pieces in here. But that's okay. This is something that I can easily slip the paper under when I'm done. But I'm going to just build the rest of the card so you can see. I don't know if there's a front or back to this denim ribbon, but I decided that it's not going to be, I'm not going to bow it. I'm going to knot it, because we're being hip. We're being cool, okay? I always keep the one finger in there, and then I pull, and hopefully it's tight enough. This one, unfortunately, and I kind of had a feeling it was going to be like that, is not as tight. Just pull your 2 ends, and you've got a second chance again to make it a little tighter. You can work it until you get it as tight as you want. You kind of have to be good about when you're tying this knot, because you're going to see this. Oh, brother. You're going to see it. See, I'm getting flustered because I can't find that paper, and I'm just going to leave it alone, because let's do this nice and straight, and that might give me a little bit more to work with. Pull it so tight that maybe it even pulls the paper a little bit if you have to, because when you finish, it loosens up by the time you tie that knot. There we go. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. It's tighter and it's straight. Let me cut off the frayed ends. We're having a conversation about this recently. These are the scissors, the old scissors from Stampin' Up. You can't find scissors like that anymore. I think it was on the leaders page that they were talking about it. Okay, so I don't have my designer paper here yet because I don't know where it is. Big surprise, like I said. I was going to put another piece, but unfortunately, this is not the right paper. And I want this to be kind of hip, right? I mean, I guess I could use this one. Let's just pretend with this one. I'm not going to glue it in, but we'll pretend with that one, okay? Just like that. It actually works, except that I think it should be more like this. And who's to say that it couldn't be like that if you wanted it to? Totally could. Okay, I'm going to show you something, another really cool thing. I used the wonderful snowflakes. I made a card yesterday, a fun fold card, and I used the textured chic or season of chic dies. And I cut out of just some of the little scraps of this, and you've got your iridescent, beautiful paper just out of the scraps. And it's still Stampin' Up, by the way. So I had some cute snowflakes. So don't throw away all of your scraps. I mean, don't keep everything either, but don't throw them away if you can. Okay, so we've got that. And we're going to stamp our sentiment real quick. Let's move this back. I've got my Poppy Parade. I inked it up to make sure it was going to be nice and wet because it did seem like it was a little bit dry. So this again is it's what they call a clear stamp. It's not photopolymer. We're going to stamp that here. And I've already lined it up with the block, so I am totally trusting the block. So you can see, let me do it just right. There you can see, I made that edge lined up with the block. So I'm going to trust my block. I'm going to trust that I hopefully did a decent job, just like that. This would be where hopefully my snowflake is going to cover up that little tiny mark. Okay, we've got that. And once again, like I said, this isn't the right designer paper, but I wanted to show you that what I'm going to do is stick this down here, or I could stick it up here. I could totally stick it up here if I wanted to. I could move my ribbon down. And once you've decided where you're going to put things, put a little glue dot behind here, just to keep it in place. But I kind of liked it up here. I'm going to put it right there, and I'm not going to glue it down just because it's not the right paper. Here we've got our wonderful snowflakes, and they just punch right out. And by now, I'm sure most, if not all of you have figured out, I found it by accident last year when they came out with these, that this center is the same size as our dimensional. So it's a really good fit. Just line up those edges. It's a perfect hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, a hexagon. And we're going to put that right there up here in the corner. And the only thing left, and I'm not sticking it down really because I'm going to find that other piece of paper. I'm going to find it. The only thing left yet to do is put this on the inside. So let me open this up. Now, if you're going to, I'm going to glue down the red so that you can at least see this. You know what? We might have to just do this piece of paper because it's going to drive me crazy if I don't. Okay. Sorry, it's not as hip as the other one. But my son would be the first to tell you that I am not. I'm not one of the cool guys, even though I try. Okay, here we go. And what I'm going to do is put, oh, it's an hour already. I'm going to put just the adhesive on this side. I promise this is the last card, guys. We are almost done. Just put the adhesive on that side. Center it on the front of your card, just like that. Just like that. I'm going to put this down here. I could pop it up if I wanted to. Maybe I'm going to pop this one up. I think we're going to pop this one up real quick. Oh, took the paper off too, off the bottom. Hang on one second. Every once in a while, I get a dud bunch of, oh, I'm not going to worry about it, of dimensionals where it takes the paper off the bottom of my sheet as well. Let's just put that there. Okay, and we're just going to put that there. Lift that up, just like that. And maybe I will just put my little snowflake on top just like that. And you know what? I'll put red rhinestones there and nobody will be the wiser that I just made that little blemish right there. So you've got that. And then inside, this is 3 3/4 by 4 inches, just like this. So just make sure that you pay attention to the size, because you'll know before you glue it in that obviously that's not the right size. It has to go in this direction. So we're going to go like this. 3 3/4 inches by 4 inches. The 4 inch is the tall side. Voila. And then I can throw my Starbucks gift cards that you guys are going to give me right in there. Don't you love it? So this is my favorite designer paper of the whole pack, I have to say. But I really do love these cards. So let's not show that one because it's supposed to look like this. And we've got this card. So that's our second card. And our third card is the Christmas card right here. What do you think, guys? Fun, huh? Did you decide green or white ribbon? If it's a $50 order, you get the white ribbon from me. But just for a little variety here, we'll put the green ribbon there. But voila! Thanks for joining me. I had so much fun. Let me flip down real quick and say goodnight. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I had a great time with this. I honestly was a little nervous to start, but this was fun. I hope you had fun too. Keep stamping, and I will see you next week. Oh, speaking of next week, I am going to On Stage in Montreal next week. I leave on Thursday, so I won't be here for my live next Thursday. So I think I'm going to try and go live on Wednesday instead. So look for me next Wednesday. If I am going live, I will give you a reminder early in the day so you can find me. And you can always watch it on replay. Talk to you soon. Have a great, great week, everybody. Bye.